Hey, let me start off by checking in with the last half of the Lbrry book, a book that I have powered through, audiobook that I've powered through in the last 2 days. Yeah, it's like 12 hours long, and I did 6 hours one day and 6 hours the next. And so, yeah, Susan Orlean kind of circling her story of the LA Public Library all around the terrible incident in 1986 where fire in the library consumed shit ton of books. Ton of books. They had a suspect, and the guy is like a compulsive liar. Like, the unfortunate poisoning thing about this book is, you think about it, it's like, wow, this guy, he has to lie. He's like, every time he opens his mouth, he has to lie, and he has to change his story, his alibi each time of, like, you know, was he at the library? No, he wasn't. He told his friends that he had burned it down, but no, he was just making that up. Like, and when, what times, it just keeps on changing and changing, and it's just like, you're Donald Trump, you know? It's like every time you open your mouth, you just can't help but lie, you know, pathologically. Just it's ingrained in this guy. And yeah, there's that, and there's also just Orlean looking at the kind of the science of fire, you know, arson and stuff like that, or the lack of. Come on, out of there, out of there. Go on. The lack of science of arson, because it seems like you know, the truism is like, oh well, we found this concentration of fire here. This is where the fire started. But she shows kind of incidences and science kind of going, no, that's kind of one of these things that actually seems to be unsupported by actual scientific evidence. And yeah, so they're, you know, like, they pinpoint the fire having started here, but other experts are like, they can't really be that specific. This area was like at this level of fire. It's like they can't be that specific about it. So this whole thing of it was a human hand holding a flame is the cause might not necessarily be the case. It could just have been wiring. The place is an older place, built in, finally, you know, probably built in 1936. Definitely, you know, gone through a lot of underfunding, kind of dilapidated in places. You know, they do go after this guy. I want to say Lbrry Bk, but I know that's not right. But in the end, he sues them, and they end up settling for like $35,000 that they give him, which is a pittance, and he probably shouldn't have accepted. But at the same time, he's a gay man in the 80s, and he contracted AIDS. He, of course, makes up yet another story saying it was like, you know, medical students practicing how to draw blood, and that they're kept on using the same needles over and over again, dirty needles, and that's how he got it. It's like, no, it's just bullshit. There would have been a lot of other medical students with the same issue and would have definitely come up. It's like, no, he bullshitted yet another story. It's probably from, you know, having sex with dudes and stuff like that, which is like, yeah, he's a gay guy. That's what's gonna happen, and it's just fucking tragedy of that time. So that happens. So he dies he dies not too long after the case gets settled. But the whole thing about this book is it's just such a great excuse for kind of going through just all what the community of the library, what the library is. The library, when it comes down to it, it's a building with books in it, but that's kind of not what it is in a way. It's so much else. So much else as just sort of a meeting place, a central place for the community. They've got people there, like the information desk of just like, answering people's questions just about books, or just factoids and stuff like that, is just so fascinating. And just, as I've been talking about in the last one, just the history, there's the library war where the woman gets flushed out because, well, we want to give the thing to a guy. This was like in 1906 or whatever, when well before any anti-discrimination things would be in place. But just, yeah, all through the ages of the different managers and the people, connected, is just a really great kind of anecdotal history of this institution, using the fire as an excuse to talk about it. And in the end, Orlean going like, look, I don't know, whether he did it or not. I can't really tell, or whether there was arson or not. So, it's like, we're not going to know. We're not going to know. We are going to know about that this institution, 6 years later, it did reopen. They actually did make it back. Yeah. Just wow. Just really pulled me through. Orlean read the book herself, which was also nice. It's not one of these actors acting the shit out of the words. It's an author reading the words, and yes, probably dramatizing to a certain degree, but just a really good kind of storytelling, kind of matter-of-fact voice, which I really enjoyed as an audiobook experience. So yeah, that is The Lbrry Book by Susan Orlean. Another keeper. I would have to say, yeah, he as the central figure of the book, the suspect, not as compelling as like The Orchid Thief, where she sort of used a similar thing of that kind of the pathetic dude, the Chris Cooper character from the movie, whatever his name was, the Orchid Thief himself, a little bit more soulful in his patheticness in that book than the Lbrry Book. All right, I will leave it there. More videos later.